everyone, to another edition of HoopsU. I'm Andy Katz, pleased to be joined by my co-host, Big Ten Network partner, Rapheal Davis, and we are pleased to be joined by Xavier Johnson from Indiana. So glad for you to join us, and we cannot wait to see you back on the court, at the shot, at Assembly Hall, whatever we want to call it at Indiana. Biggest question right off the bat, how healthy are you?
I'm 100% healthy. Yeah, it's good to be back on the floor.
What's it been like going through the process, kind of taking us through it?
I mean, it was a long process. It's something that, that was mind-boggling to me at first. But, I just took lessons from it, learned from it by sitting back just watching, because I've never really gotten a chance to, just actually analyze the game from the bench. That was my first time, sitting the bench for a long time and just looking and reading my teammates.
So what'd you analyze? What'd you see?
Ball screen reads, slowing down the game. One thing was pace. One thing that Jalen had that I learned from him as a young player. He had very good pace coming off the ball screens and stuff, making reads, hitting the mid-range shots, getting his teammates involved as well.
Well, you guys got a lot of new guys that's coming in. You just mentioned Hushafino. You guys lost, obviously, Trace and Race, and then even like guys like Miller. So, what's it been like having all these new voices in the locker room? And who's because even yourself, you kind of came in as a new guy, as a transfer, and now you're an old guy. So now you got a voice. So who else got a voice in the locker room with you? Who's kind of taking that leadership role?
The other guy would be Trey. Trey Galloway has taken a leadership role, and Anthony Lill has taken a leadership role too by setting an example, because he's been here for 3 years as well, under Coach Wood's wing. But the transition's been easy for the guys. Everybody's friendly, everybody's on the same page. We're getting in the gym. The coach has got to be able to kick us out of the gym for us not to be in the gym. So I think it's a better team, honestly, than last year. Honestly.
Well, I'll tell you, I got two great defenders here. So no one's the ball's not getting inside past the two of you. But there's no question. I'm going to go back 2 years ago, because your guys' season changed when everything went a little bit more defensive and you guys ratcheted up. That's how you made the tournament. That was your run in the tournament. You led that. How do you get that back? I know the personnel has changed, especially without TJD, but how do you get back that defensive mindset, that intensity you guys had 2 years ago with this group?
Honestly, it's by following the leader. Coach Wilson's the leader of our team. He's the ultimate leader of our team, and we got listed other coaches too that surround him as well, our coaching staff. I feel like that was a big part of why we took off 2 years ago. And defensive principles are different. And, with the other guys, the other transfers that came in, it was kind of difficult for them to understand, like the defense actually works. And, all you got to do is listen to Coach Woodson and just be disciplined.
Andy mentioned the defense. The one thing I really think that changed that year, and you was probably thinking in your head when he said it, was you just started getting buckets. Y'all started playing faster. You started being more confident and getting to the rack. You started shooting your mid-range. And you started being more free. And kind of when I hear you say, we even got a little bit of a better team now, when I look at y'all makeup, it seemed like y'all will kind of be back to that pace. You know what I mean? Back to kind of that style of play. The ball is moving, it's flowing. What has that been like this offseason, playing without TJD? And kind of why do you feel like y'all will have a better team?
I feel like we have the same makeup of last year's team. We got a big that can block shots. And I'm not saying that Kalel is Trace, but he has things that he can do as well as Trace, his blocking shots and run to the basket, and he could pop as well. So he's a versatile big. We got Mac coming in at the 3 spot after Miller. I'm not saying he's more athletic than Miller, of course, but we got to get on the same level of Miller being vocal, because Miller was a vocal guy for our team, and it was a big key to our defense as well. Because being in the back line, you got to be basically the quarterback. You got to talk the most, and being a freshman is going to be kind of hard with him. But we're trying to make his transition better, make him more comfortable with being around the team. And at the 4th spot we got Malik. So I think Malik, he had to follow Race last year, follow Race's footsteps last year, see how he fit in the team. And I think Coach Woody and the coach staff are doing a good job of staying on everybody about doing their job for the team.
Well, just real quick, Andy, is when you see a guy like McKenzie and you see these guys that I mean, you just know they're good. Like when Biggie came in, like Caleb Swanigan, he came in at Purdue. Like one of his things that we noticed early is he gonna get every rebound. Like that's his thing. So like when you see McKenzie, what's his thing? What makes him special?
He's wired to score. He can actually score the ball. He can really shoot it. He might take some quick ones. Coach, I think he took a quick one the other day, and coach got kind of made a face he was about to say something, but he made it. And coach turned around and started laughing because he actually really shoot the ball. He's a freshman. Most majority of freshmen, they got a problem with not passing the ball. So I mean, as long as you're scoring it, we ain't got a problem with it.
So look, at Indiana, expectations are always high. We know that. I mean, you're from Indiana, Rapheal, so you know all about that. But when we look at this league this year, you guys are that one team that I think enters the season with outside lower expectations. You certainly can exceed them, but it just doesn't feel like all that pressure is on this group, which may be a good thing. I mean, clearly there's talent, but I don't think you guys come in with all that, the bricks on the back right now. How do you look at it?
I look at it as a good thing. Teams aren't expecting us to be good, so I mean, I wouldn't say not good, but the teams are not expecting us to be back at the top. But I think as a unit, we're trying to work and get that way, because no team must just tell themselves we're going to sit back in the back of the league. No, we're going to try to be in the front, like we have been in the last 2 years. We're going to try to compete at the highest level.
I know how it was for us when I played, and every locker room is different. But is that something y'all talk about in the locker room? Is like, do y'all have like wallpaper material? You know what I mean? Y'all have guys rank y'all 9th, 10th preseason. Is that something y'all discussing, or is it kind of like we just gonna do us? That's who.
I mean, it was something that we discussed at first, but we got to keep the main thing the main thing. Everybody got to play at the same time. We're focused on the season, getting better as a unit because it's our first time being together. This summer we had a talk. We saw the rankings and stuff. Of course, our coaches show us that type of stuff. But you know what? It's just a motivation to us.
Tell me what it's like when Assembly Hall is packed, rocking. You can't even hear. What's that atmosphere like?
I mean, it's honestly insane. It's no feeling like no other. These fans are crazy. Of course, they'll jump off the wall, and it gets really erratic in there. When you can't hear, it's kind of like you're just playing. Honestly, you're just playing pickup for real because it's like you can't hear nothing, so you're just playing the game like you're just playing.
I got Indiana, Purdue here. Mackey Assembly. Tell me, Rapheal, which one?
Oh, when I played, we was running them dudes. So. Yeah, it was they got us the first year. They boat raced us the first year. That was Vic and Cody. I remember they beat us by like 36, and Mackey and Will Sheehy got the flexing on the crowd. And that it was that game. And I think Paint, like I remember Cream pressing us, and they up 30 and they still pressing. And I remember Paint took like that game such to heart that like that next like 9-game winning streak, like that was like on purpose. Like it was like that was my freshman year. That next year, my sophomore year, we finished last place in the Big Ten, but we beat IU, and you would have thought we won the Super Bowl. Like, you know what I mean? Like that IU game became like just like so serious, and even when I left, I'm like, yeah.
Purdue won the league, but Indiana swept Purdue.
Yep, last year. Yep. Yeah, I think I like it now. For me, I like it better now because I like it having both coaches involved. They both played in it. Then both of the coaches that the guys played for, they kind of started it. So now you got two guys where it really means something. Because I know like Xavier Johnson, it really don't mean nothing to Xavier Johnson. You're not from Indiana, but Woody can preach it into him more. You know what I mean? Like when he had a former guys call back, you'll see the former guys come around, all that type of stuff. When you got a guy that has nothing against Coach Crean, is a great coach, but he wasn't involved in like that part of it. He wasn't in the brotherhood of it. And I think does Coach do stuff like that? Have you talked to former alums about the rivalry?
Yeah. He's done a good job, I think, of bringing back family. Because honestly, I met Isaiah Thomas my first year. Cody Zeller came back. A lot of guys came back and talked to us. So I don't think that's really happened before Crean, because like you said, Coach Woodson has a culture that already made here.
And one question I had, because look, and this is different from when we talk to coaches. I can talk to you like it's like my brother and sister both graduated from IU. So, you know what I mean? My brother was working for the team, for the basketball team, the year Wofford hit the shot. So he was in the gym. So like I remember that same year I went to Little Five. So it's like I know how, you know.
So you
So
so
like
you
what's
IU
it
blood for real.
what's it like? I will tell you though, my sister is the oldest. She went on her first college visit, it was to IU. I threw up in the little grocery store parking lot. So like that's what it was. But what's it like being a basketball player on campus when y'all winning?
You know, everybody wants to applaud you, and everybody's on your side. But you know, I mean, you know, as being a basketball player, you know when things go downhill, people are not the same with you. But you know, you just got to keep being humble when you're doing good, and when you're doing bad, you know, I honestly stay out of the crowd, honestly, because you know it can be a depression thing.
Because it's a big deal in Indiana. More so for me. I mean, when I first got to Purdue, we weren't that good. Like you know what I mean. We struggled, so we didn't really have the right to us with the fans and stuff like that. But like for a guy like McKenzie, and even guys like Gabe Cupps coming in with a big following, is that something y'all talk to the freshmen about? Just about Twitter, social media, interact with the fans and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. We talked to him most definitely about it. That was one of the first things we told him. Like don't get caught up in what the fans usually say. You know, we got some good fans. You know, there could be some bad fans. You know, there's some fans that are just trolls. But you know, you just got to keep your head straight forward and keep going. That's all you got to do.
Hey, Xavier, you know, Woody, I think, is probably wired better than most coaches to deal with this new transfer portal. Obviously, you were part of that. We got Ware, who's a part of it, because that's what they do in the NBA. You got roster rotation constantly, one season to the next, within the season. How has he handled new faces because he's had to deal with it in his professional life in the past?
I think Coach Woody does it well. You know, people think he's old and don't remember things. You know, I guess it just comes with him. But you know, I think Coach Woody's a hell of a coach. You know, and honestly, people are starting to see that, and people question when he came in here, could he adapt? And I think he's adapting pretty well, and he's understanding the game. And you know, he had a couple of things he had to learn last year, and he's still learning to this day.
What's it like? Because I remember I talked to Coach Woodson. This was your first year there. Y'all were at Nebraska, and he was talking about how he's hard on his point guard. But now you're not just his point guard. You his 6 year point guard. You was captain. You've been there 3 years. Now you was boy. You was baby. Like,
Yeah, it's not for real.
what is it like being a captain for Coach Woodson? Because I've heard him say that he's tough on his captains. And because I remember I was a captain for Paint, and it would be like I talked to Paint today, and he'll say, I didn't even know you were doing certain stuff. Like we didn't have to talk about certain things, but like, what is that relationship with you and Woody like?
The relationship is really held strong. You know, I think it's really, and honestly, I mean, I didn't think it was really strong until, you know, I went down with my broken foot and it was Christmas time and I didn't get a chance to go home because I just got out of surgery. And he brought me and my mom over to his house to have Christmas dinner. So, you know, I think the bond actually grew from there. And, you know, I love Coach Woodson to death, you know, because he wants the best for my career and for Indiana as well. You know, Coach Woodson is a down-to-earth dude, and he's a guy that everybody should want to be around.
Hey, one last thing for me. There was a point last year, I remember in the winter, where, and I don't know if this is true or not, but there was a little chatter that you might have come back. You know, you didn't want to rush it, but what went into that decision about whether or not you could have come back toward the end of the season?
A lot of it was based on my where I was and what was best for my career. You know, I really wanted to come back. Really wanted to tell Coach Woodson I really wanted to win a championship because I know I thought we had a great team. You know, he had to live up to the expectations, but you know, God told me it was a different route for me. You know, Coach Woodson had to talk. I know when I first went down, Coach Woody asked me, you know, would you want to come back? And I told him, nah, I really didn't. Honestly, I told him I didn't want to come back. I wanted to move on. But you know what? Me and my parents and him had to sit down and talk and went down. You know, what was best for my career. Honestly, that was the main thing.
Yeah, and when you think about when you come back, you got to deal with younger players. You know what I mean? You got a freshman miss a class, you got run a suicide. Like that used to bother me. You know what I mean? But like when you think about the freshmen from last season, and you think Caleb, Malik, CJ, those guys, they gonna have to be impactful this season. Where have those guys grown, and how will they help impact the team?
You know, the coaches have been saying on them about everything too. You know, You know, they're the biggest culprits of you got to get better for us to compete at a high level in the Big Ten, and I believe they understand that because they're in the gym constantly. I don't see them not in the gym a day. Like they're always in the gym. They're doing film work. They're doing things to make their game better, and they understand that.
And last thing I got, man, just I'm always curious to ask players and ask guys after especially after the summer, who been busting heads in open gyms? Who been getting buckets? Who been winning the games? Who been talking trash? What's been y'all best lineup? Kind of like, what's the summer been like?
The summer was very, very competitive. But I think the person that had the best summer was honestly Trey Galloway. Trey shooting the ball tremendously well. And he's scoring and getting his teammates some balls like normal too as well. He's learning his whole game honestly. But I think Trey had the best summer honestly because Trey was actually killing this summer. But I think everybody honestly had an okay summer. Had a good summer honestly. And I think we're going to be a solid team in the Big Ten.
If Trey can go get a bucket,
man.
My bad, Andy. But if Trey can go get a bucket, man, it'll change everything for y'all. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you, big dog. I hope you have a healthy season. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll be talking to you. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Rapheal. To me, they are the most intriguing team in the Big Ten because we don't know. You know what I mean? Like they got talent. Yep. Not quite sure about their depth, but I like their starting five. I think a lot's going to be determined. First of all, they got a really hard schedule. And now the good news, they got like a Kansas at home, not there, because they got run on the road. If you remember.
Some teams, it don't matter where you play.
I know. But, I mean, to your point, if Galloway and if X is defending and making shots, that's a really good backcourt.
Yeah.
If Ware, who was never 100% at Oregon, but he's got a ton of potential. And if he can max that out in Indiana, that's tremendous. Mac obviously was a big-time recruit coming in. He's going to be all hype. You forget about Malik Renew. I mean, he's a solid rotation guy.
Yep.
So I don't know about the depth. It's going to be young depth, but I think they're an intriguing team.
Yeah, I think so. I think the depth, I'm questioning that, and then I'm questioning the shooting. I think hearing that McKenzie has been able to transition into college and be able to still shoot the ball well, that's good to hear. And then you hear him talk about Trey Galloway being able to make shots because, I mean, you got Gabe Katz making shots. I mean, Anthony Leal can make shots. CJ Gunn made a lot of shots in high school, but hasn't made it a lot in college. So that part, I mean, you get a lot of talent and a lot of size and athleticism. And at the end of the day, if you can't make shots from deep, you're going to struggle. So I think they're going to need 2 or 3 guys that they could depend on to shoot upwards 36% from three. And I don't know if you want to bank all your bread in that on a freshman. So I think that's going to be a big tell for them. And then being able to have like guys like, because some of those guys not going to play, whether it's Renew or Peyton or a couple transfers, or even if it's Ware if he's not playing hard. So they're going to have in the front line, they're trying to replace TJD and Race with 3 or 4 guys. And just like at Purdue, somebody's not going to play. So that's going to be a situation keeping everybody happy. But I think for Indiana to have the year that they want to have, it's one of those situations where everything has to go right. No injuries. Galloway has to really make that. I mean, Galloway is one of my favorite players in the league. And if he makes the jump that I didn't make my senior year offensively to kind of turn the corner, I think they will struggle. But if he makes that jump, I think they could really contend to be at the top of the league.
Because the other thing is, you're talking about up front, what they don't have, at least we don't know if they have, is a guy back to the basket, definitely can score. Because Khalil Ware, I mean, he's a rim runner. You know what I mean? He's going to get putbacks, alley-oops, stuff like that. Is he necessarily a guy where you're just going to pound it in the way TJD could do? Probably not. I mean, I haven't seen him in a while, but I'll be intriguing to see if he can. But that's my concern. So, if they're not making threes, can you go inside?
Exactly. And then, like, for me, it's I think I heard Coach Izzo say this before, is that you could be a really good NBA prospect or be a guy that has NBA ability and have the measurables and the length and that such, but not be a great college player. I mean, not necessarily you have a motor to play college basketball, especially in the Big Ten. You got to be physical. You got to want to hit and things like that. So you can be extremely talented, but not affect winning. They need one thing. TJD, well, he was extremely talented, but he also affected winning. And they got Malik Renew. He's really talented. He could play at the next level. Those guys really got to figure out how to affect winning because Xavier Johnson, Trey Galloway, I mean, McKenzie is one of those guys that you just throw anywhere, he's going to get you a couple buckets. So it's like the starting guards are going to affect something. But the bigs, that's really the key question, like you said, is he's talented, he can play, although he wasn't at full strength, can he affect winning in a half-court setting? Because in the Big Ten, the good teams make you play in the half court, and you're not running and gunning against the good teams. And you got to score against Cliff, you got to score against Zach, you got Julian Reese. I mean, even Xavier Booker at Michigan State, I think he struggles a little bit because maybe he doesn't affect winning early. So I think that's going to be interesting to see. But I got Indiana right now in the middle of the pack. But I think if they make shots,
yeah, I mean, if they make shots, that's going to be, that'll certainly be the question. All right, and I'll tell you one other guy, someone like Matt Nicholson, who's just going to keep you in the half court. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's not, like you're going to have to try to shoot over him at Northwestern. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because they're going to cut the court in half, make it half court, and now you got to try to get over, and he's a big body. So anyway, all right, another great episode, keeping it going. We're plowing through the Big Ten. Appreciate it, Rapheal. Thank you. And you can find us on Instagram at HoopsU.
Yep, and subscribe to HoopsU on YouTube, to Andy's page, and check us out every week.
Appreciate it, everyone.